Sponsored by Credible, great rates, none of the bull. Antoine Walker's here. Timberwolves Grizzlies, game 2. I'll be honest with you, wasn't great if you're rooting for the Wolves. Ja had 23 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, 1 heart ripping out. It was mine. Anthony Edwards had a quiet 20. Memphis led by as many as 32, and honestly, I was still sitting there being like, you know what? A few points here and there, somebody can get hot. Didn't happen. Even up the series 1-1. Antoine, was last night what you expect to see for the rest of the series?
Well, the energy and effort level from last night, I definitely want to see. I thought the Memphis Grizzlies was a more aggressive team. When you think about out-rebounding the Timberwolves by 8 with 14 offensive rebounds, 60 points in the paint, this is a team that we're used to seeing, providing a lot of energy and effort. Then Ja, I thought, was better. He was more under control. When he had 10 assists, but 7 guys got in double figures. Just a great total team effort. And I got to give the Memphis Grizzlies coaching staff a lot of love right now. Steven Adams got in foul trouble the first couple minutes. They didn't go back to him.
Out of there.
They stayed small. They stayed athletic. That may be the trend in this series. I'm not saying you can't play Steven Adams at all, but this is not an ideal series for him. Being that Karl-Anthony Towns likes to roam around on the three-point line. He moves around a lot on the perimeter. So you taking Steven Adams out of some of the things that he loves to do around the basket as far as protecting the basket and rebounding. So playing small and being more athletic may be the answer in this series that they figured out last night. But this is going to be a great series. If I'm Minnesota, Minnesota has to feel really good that they went in there and got one and that they're going home to their home crowd. But great win last night for Memphis. It's a great way to bounce back.
Listen, I'll tell you who doesn't feel good, Kevin Wildes, but more on that in a moment. First of all, shout out to Taylor Jenkins for the fact that it took him 1 game and 2 minutes to figure out what, for example, Scott Brooks never figured out in those Thunder Heat NBA finals, that everyone's favorite Kendrick Perkins was unplayable. Steven Adams can't play in this series. He's not supposed to play in this series. But the true biggest loser from last night was, of course, Wildes. Because Wildes was the Memphis guy. Wildes was the Ja Morant guy. And then Wildes, a lot of the media got a little overexcited about Minnesota. They love Ant-Man. They love, it's exciting. But Wildes was like, you think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have a bad game? Yeah, maybe. You think Patrick Beverley is going to be a total non-factor, no-show, just little pest that you flick away? Yeah, I mean, possibly. And then, most notably, you know what? Why am I even saying it? To steal a line from Reading Rainbow, don't take my word for it. Just take a listen.
Upset alert. Minnesota wins this game. I'm guaranteeing it. Put it on the board. Put it on the Wildes guarantee board. They're going to win.
Wow.
They're going to win. And yeah, Ja's going to rise to the occasion. And you know what? Yes, they're going to win the series. Ja's going to rise up, and they're going to knock Ja on the ground. How many times do we see Ja on the ground? I didn't like it, but I respected it as a strategy.
Yeah, Wildes, my jaw is on the ground listening to that terrible tape. And you have now just you're a man without a country. The only consistent basketball take you've had all year is that the Magic are frisky. You could have been the Grizzlies guy.
Yeah.
You abandoned them after 1 bad game. And I think they took notice, Wildes. I think you inspired the Grizzlies.
Yeah. Okay, got a little over my skis there. Everyone attacking Patrick Beverley. I tried to rise up. Anthony Edwards named his dog Anthony Edwards Jr. That kind of clouded my vision. I would like to go back to the Grizzlies. If you would have me, Memphis, I think we have sound from Ja Morant. If we can play that, hopefully Ja would have me back. Can we take a listen to Ja after the game?
Tell everybody to stay on that side when they switched up. You switched up, stay on that side, man. Stop a Memphis over here. Memphis, yeah, you know what happened after every dunk. Some one, some on that. Big Memphis.
Ooh. What I was hoping for.
I don't think he's taking you back, Wild.
Not what I was looking for.
I don't think he's taking you back.
Brew, I'm in a tough spot here. Brew, what do you recommend I do? Just tell me outright. We're break the format of the show. I'm stuck. Do I got to stay with Minnesota at this point?
I mean,
Facts over feelings?
you got to at this point. And look, you have to stay with Minnesota because Ja doesn't want you back. If Ja had been understanding, clearly he was watching the show. If Ja had been understanding, it'd be a different matter altogether. But he don't want you back. So now you got to go full bore. Anthony Edwards, you call Karl Anthony Towns ferocious. I know he only took 7 shots last night. Didn't look that ferocious. But you got to stay there. And Patrick Beverley's your guy now. Wilds, you know I've picked Memphis, and I haven't jumped off that. But I do, and Twine even thinks this. I could tell in his answer, this is going to be a tough series. All right, this is a good matchup for Minnesota. This is going to be a long 6 or 7 game series. And Wilds, I'm going to throw you a bone. I don't have to because you have been totally dismissive of me with the Nets in Boston. Just clearly not throwing me a bone or anything. But I'm going to throw you a bone. I'm going to be kind like your sign says. D'Angelo Russell has been bad in these first 2 games. 10 points a game, 23% shooting. Well, check it out. 4 times in the regular season he faced Memphis, and those were 2-2 games, all right? 2-2 series regular season. D'Angelo Russell was a monster. 31 points a game, 56% shooting. Those were the best numbers he had against any team they played more than once this season. So D'Angelo Russell is set to break out, Wilds, when they get back to the Target Center in Minnesota. Is that still what it's called? It's in Minnesota. That he is set for a breakout. And so they're 1-1 with D'Angelo playing horribly. So that's something you can rest your hat on and, hope that they can make this thing a long series.
All right.
Chris,
what do you think?
Chris, I do agree with you about this being a tough matchup. If this is a bad draw for Memphis because they're playing against a team that's got similar skill sets, they got youth, they're athletic, they got multiple guys that can score the basketball. So for Memphis, this is their first time being a 2 seed in the West. And I like the fact that the coaches made the adjustment of knowing that this is going to be a tough series for Steven Adams, which is the first big adjustment. The second thing is that they're going to have to continually play just as hard as Minnesota's playing. The energy and effort has to be there. Ja has to play under control. He's got to share the basketball like he's done, like he did last night. They had 7 guys in double figures, 29 assists. Those things got to be common if they want to get out this series. And this series will go a 6 or 7 game series. They got to be prepared for that mentally, knowing that they're playing against an opponent that's just as worthy and just as good as they are. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get a bad matchup that teams are equally just as good as you are, but you got to figure out a way to beat them, and that's where coaching comes in and small, subtle adjustments.
This thing is not going 7 games. Because Minnesota won the first one, maybe it goes 6. Maybe they get one of the next 2 in Minnesota. But this is not going 7 games, guys. You guys are still here's what's happening. Everyone that loves basketball is so excited about what Anthony Edwards could be and is becoming that folks are trying to microwave it and skip steps. Memphis has been one of the most consistent, deepest, most well-coached teams with a true superstar of any team in basketball all year. They play 14 guys. Now, I don't know if that actually will help them in the next round against Golden State. They probably need to pare the rotation down, but they are deep. They are well-coached. They have an amazing home court. Minnesota is not close to their level yet. They got one. Maybe they'll get one more. But Memphis is – Antoine has them going to the finals. Wilds had him going to the finals before he fell in love. Oh, my God, I can't imagine how hard it must have been for Wilds, like girlfriends in high school. It's like, I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And the next day, he's like, I'm not even taking you to homecoming. Like, he's just like, oh, no, somebody else smiled at me. It's just a rough time for a fickle man, Wilds. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Beverley put on that Versace robe. He was eating from a Versace plate. I believed in him. Hey, what do you expect to see from Kyrie in Boston tonight? We'll discuss after the break.